Practice. Anybody tried to practice with your gene ID? Have you noted gene IDs?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what is the ID you have taken, Swarna? Can you tell me your ID? These are all the IDs. I think the screen is shared, I think. Is the screen shared? These are all the IDs I have given you. So can you tell me, Swarna, which ID you have taken? So that let me check what you are doing. Can you tell me your ID? Swarna, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me your ID.
148-7406, ma'am. 148.
Okay, 7406.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So what is that you have done with your ID? Tell me. What was the first thing you are supposed to do? You should know what this ID, what this ID codes for. What is this gene about? Right? So how you have done that? Using, you go to nucleotide. In NCBI, go to nucleotide and put this ID. Or you can.
I have done directly with gene, ma'am.
Okay. How did you find the gene? Okay. Yeah,
Actually, it was showing directly, ma'am.
Yes, that's what I'm going to tell you. You can go to gene or you can go to nucleotide, right?
Yes,
so when you go in NCBI, sorry, can you imagine what will happen if you put this ID in Google? You may get all nonsense information which is not required for us, right? So you should search for your related information in NCBI only. Right? So I think your protein what you have got is enveloped glycoprotein B. That is protein US8. Right? So have you downloaded your FASTA sequence of gene?
Yes, ma'am. Till FASTA I completed, ma'am.
Gene sequence have you taken?
Yes, ma'am.
And have you taken the protein sequence?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I'm trying, ma'am, that one.
Yeah. So in the same page, go down. Go down. Here you have information, genomic related information as well as mRNA protein related information. Here you will get the protein, NP. NP is there, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it visible? So in NP, if you click on NP, you will be directed to see NCBI protein. And this is envelope glycoprotein and you have 417 amino acids. And here you can download your protein sequence. Done? Understood how you have to do?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Anybody else? Who else practiced? Who else have picked their sequence? Can you tell me? This is for Swarna. Okay. Next. We'll be doing with this sequence only, Swarna. Okay. Next. Anybody else?
Okay, ma'am.
Anybody else have tried? Not tried?
Not tried, ma'am.
No one tried? You should try now when you will get. Just by looking at me, you will understand by that time. But when you even in mobile also you can do this. Very easy. I'm not asking you to do some structure and all, right? So this is easy. You can even practice in the mobile. Okay. So yesterday.
Spandana also done, ma'am.
Yeah, Spandana. What? Tell me your ID. Which ID?
She was kept in message box, ma'am.
Let me check. Let me check the message box. I'm not able to find. Yeah, I got it. Yes. So Spandana's is 478-3438. Okay. 478-3438. Let me check. It's what it codes for. I have given you all the IDs from the same organism so that after you are done with all your results, we will do some project with this. Okay. So Spandana's protein is a viral protein V57, right? It is UL 3.5. And Hope Shivda from the genomic regions transcripts products region, you can download the genomic sequence, and in the drop down you can download the protein sequence. And you know, you by keeping your genomic sequence, protein sequence in hand, you have to perform BLAST, right? So I told you the other way. For example, yesterday I was talking about what is that glycoprotein. What was the first glycoprotein? I was working with glycoprotein E, right? Glycoprotein E, surface glycoprotein. So let us search for glycoprotein E in. Rather, what we can do is first we will search for the same glycoprotein which I was working with. I think I was working with this glycoprotein E, right? Okay, let me go to the accession number directly. If you have copied your accession numbers, then going back working several times will be very, very easy, you know. It will be very easy. Right? So I told you one way how you can get some sequences closely related to your sequence from the from BLAST. But using NCBI protein also, you will be able to identify some related glycoprotein. Actually, this is the way you have to identify envelope glycoprotein. I have not marked for bovine herpes alpha herpes virus 1 protein. Just you have to give the name of the query protein. So your NCBI protein will try to find out the envelope glycoprotein E present in all different organisms, right? In the order of like you see the results. So actually this is how you should pick few closely related few sequences, then you have to perform the phylogenetic analysis or evolutionary relationship. See, when I have clicked just only envelope glycoprotein E, see how many results you are getting, almost 96,169. So many annotated sequences, these many sequences are present in the NCBI protein database. But our target was virus, right? So in left side menu, you select the viral proteins. In the left side menu, you select the filter for viral proteins, and to some extent, some number is little reduced. Again, you go to the right side. So you go to the right side, see in different viruses, you have this envelope glycoprotein E. So if you just scroll it and check, see human alpha herpes. Human alpha herpes has, like, these are all majority results, and all other taxa. These are all like majority results they have given, but even several other taxa also you have this envelope glycoprotein. Right. So by selecting one taxa, you can all other taxa means you have got the like final results here. But whenever you have to select, I told you already, whenever you have to pick a sequence of a protein or any gene, you should never use these partial sequences. You should keep checking with the complete CDS only. So what I want to tell you is that when you start searching one after another, like, you may find it very difficult. Most of the time you have several partial sequences and they may be relatively very difficult to work. Here there are some glycoproteins of HIV virus. So several glycoproteins. So several partial sequences are there. You should not use the partial sequences for any analysis. So always you should go to complete sequences, complete protein sequences. All partial sequences only you have. right? Still you see all partial what happens is in comparison partial sequences people do for the specific project understanding different domains of the protein, but in a comparative understanding partial sequences will not be really useful for us. So instead, if you don't get the partial, if you don't get the complete CDS, what you can do from the DNA sequence itself, you can download the sequence. From the DNA sequence you can get the protein sequence, and later you can keep on working. So in different organisms you can search for your envelope glycoprotein E in this manner. Means suppose you want, if I have to tell you, find out envelope glycoprotein E in mammals, for example. If I tell you there are so many filters selected here, you have to deselect the filters, right? So one more, so regarding basic how you have to retrieve the sequences, protein, DNA, all that I have taught you. And even from the NCBI page, this page also you can download your FASTA sequences and you can still start working, but always be sure that you don't select partial sequences. So what is the advantage of using this kind of search as well as BLAST is that, you remember how we have gone to BLAST yesterday? In BLAST, on right hand side you have like very good results. On the right hand side they are telling you like you are able to very quickly check and select whether they are complete sequences or partial sequences, because you know what is the length of your protein, and accordingly you can compare and check whether it is a partial sequence or like complete sequence. Means it may not be matching like 100% with other organisms, but like at least some 10 amino acids here and there also you can consider it as a complete sequence and start using for your analysis, right? So always, actually best way, good, the actual procedure is you have to go to NCBI protein, then start searching one protein from there and get some closely related proteins. But BLAST is like shortcut way. Once you understand BLAST only you can do it, right? So in BLAST what is happening, you can select, see your query protein length is 575 amino acids, and around this region if any protein in different organisms having good at least 70% of query cover, 70 like more than 40% of percentage identity, you can select that for further phylogenetic analysis. So finding here it is very easy. Here you can understand some partial sequences. Partial sequences you should not take. So within like few minutes you will be able to select several sequences. But in NCBI protein, like it is like a huge laborious process. So that is what I want to tell you. And now today we will go on to one more very important protein information resource called as UniProt KB. Right? So if you read it, UniProt KB is a central hub. So you have seen NCBI protein just now, right? So you don't see, let me go once again. NCBI protein. You see some kind of annotation, but still your UniProt is like more annotated, and you have several links. Envelope glycoprotein. You have several other links, useful links, and more visibility. You see more visibility in the UniProt, right? So for example, you have some, if you go to some result here, like you have like basic information like what is the length of the amino acid, and which are the research publications that work to give you this protein sequence information. And it has some different domains of the protein that are responsible for doing what kind of activities they are doing. C terminal is doing what, N terminal is doing what, polypeptide binding activities, such like basic information you will get. But the same protein sequence, let me take you in a site called as UniProt KB. UniProt KB is a central hub for collection of functional information of proteins with accurate, consistent and rich annotations. ఇక్కడ annotation అంటే ఏంటి? Descriptions. In addition to capturing the core data mandatory for each UniProt KB, as much as annotation information is aware, so much information is added, right, regarding name, description, taxonomic data, citation information, etc. So this include wide variety of information like biological ontology, classification. Then you have several other annotations like experimental computational data, right? So this is like a integrated database, that is integration of Swissprot as well as Tremble, right? So let us go to this. So still you can read this web page and you can try to understand. So the same sequence I have given to your UniProt KB. The same information I have, the same ID or the same accession number I have given to your UniProt. So you have a result. Envelope glycoprotein E of some looping ill virus, for example. So you just see the kind of display, compare it here. Here you have a kind of display, but still you have many good links, right side, left side. But here you just compare like relatively rich information and more visibility. See, you have initially you have the name of the protein and the gene, and you have gene molecule. This part is very important. This part is very important to understand what this protein might be doing in the host. GO is gene ontology molecular function, means as an evolutionary relationship what molecular function it is doing. So it is doing protein dimerization activity. Then GO biological process is nothing but what kind of biological process it is involved, like digestion, synthesis, like that. So it is involved in fusion of virus membrane with the host endosome membrane, virion attachment to the host cell. So this is this much in so much detailed understanding of its molecular function, its biological function is possible from UniProt KB. So next you can go to the same related information to biological processes, and you have several links from where you are getting that information, right? Then if you go to the taxonomy, you can understand it's all taxonomic understanding, and what are the host for these viruses: Bostarus, Canis, Cervine, Equine, so Homo sapiens. So this virus is infecting several other so many cattle, then dogs, then you have horses, then you have humans, like that. It is infecting several organisms, right? Then subcellular localization. So this protein, this virus, when it infects the above host systems where this protein is expressed. So this protein is expressed in endoplasmic reticulum mostly, and it is also telling you one more information is that it is a multi-pass membrane protein, means it is getting localized in the membrane. Multi-pass means several domains. So next I will to tell you some tools how you understand your proteins, whether they are like this subcellular localization prediction also I will tell. So but before you analyze itself, if you check in the UniProt KB, you will get the results where this protein is present in the host as well as in the membrane, in the virus. So in the virus also it is present in the virion, like capsid, envelope, because it's an envelope protein, right? Definitely the outermost protein. Multi-pass membrane protein. Multi-pass means several transmembrane domains. So these are all several transmembrane domains. So then if you go down, how it is interacting, it is a protein-protein interacting protein. So several domains, which domain is involved in which activity. Then some gene family domain databases, this you don't need. Then if you come down here, you have all your protein sequence, and here from here you can download the FASTA sequence. Then in the same drop down menu, you get information related to similar proteins with a 90% identity in different organisms. different organisms, and you have some proteins even with the 50% identity. So that you can, in the full view, you will be able to understand. Here, this is a full view of different proteins present in different organisms related to this protein, and you can pick from that. And here, you can see two kinds of annotation. This is called as annotation or revision. This green document color indicates this is reviewed, annotated by Swissprot. So Swissprot is the basic protein repository. Like for how GenBank is for your DNA, Swissprot is for proteins, right? But you also have a translated sequences. If gene sequence is there, you can use computational tools. You can translate your gene sequence into protein sequence. So when the genomes are sequenced by several scientists and deposited in EMBL, there is a tool called as there is a site called as Tremble, where automatically using computational tools, the sequences are translated into proteins. So such sequences are also available in the UniProt. So it is unification of both Swissprot as well as Tremble, right? So for your experiment, for your analysis, if you have this green dot information, always you should choose this information. If there is no other chance, then only you should go for this blue color dot, because they are from the computationally derived, means automatically derived. They are not reviewed manually, right? So whenever you are choosing, see, most of the sequences you have of different organism, they are not reviewed manually, but here you have some reviewed sequences in your looping virus strain, right? So for any protein, you have to follow the same information, right? So this is one very good protein information related tool, database with which you can actually start reading your information in more detail. So let me take this protein ID with which we have been working, and let us try to gather some parameters of your envelope glycoprotein E from bovine herpes virus 1. See here, here you see you don't have any sequences that are reviewed by Swissprot. You have only 2 unreviewed sequences only. Means, what do you understand? How these sequences have come to database by auto translation, right? So automatically, if you have your gene sequence, you can get your protein sequence by several tools. So by auto translated information only you have these sequences, but still by all this automatic because or suppose your presence of your where it is localized, where then what are the possible related proteins, all this is like because I'm teaching you, you are doing it one by one, but all these databases are integrated. Once the sequence is put in a particular database, it will try to get the information and try to get it analyzed by different tools automatically. So such data is stored. So though it is auto-generated sequence, you see how much of see the annotation score. For example, you also have to see something called as annotation score. Is that it should be 5. If it is 5 means you will get the Swissprot. If it is less than 5 means it is like auto-generated information. So reliability on this information will be relatively less. But still, when we don't have nothing, there is no other. So by auto-generated information, you have so much still functional information. See, in epithelial cells, the heterodimer of this protein, GE, along with another protein called as GI, is required for cell-to-cell spread. So what this protein is doing, it is spreading from cell to cell within the host by sorting nascent virus in the cell junctions. So this is important for cell-to-cell spreading. So once the virus reaches the cell junctions, it spreads to the adjacent cells extremely rapidly through interaction with the cell-cell receptors and at the junction. So this is the function of the protein. You see so many ORFs are open reading frames that are reported. You see this many. If you check in the NCBI gene, you get this many results. So organism is same, taxonomic identifiers, right? Then you have subcellular localization. Subcellular localization is that this is a virion, and when it enters into the host cell, it will enter into Golgi. It will be present in the endosome, and it is also a membrane protein because it is these are envelope glycoproteins. Obviously, all are whatever I have given you, most of them are envelope glycoproteins only. Only one or two are not non-envelope glycoproteins. So so it is present at the cell junctions. So all this is like predicted information. Then you have some family related information, composition, and the sequence. So here you can get the FASTA sequence, and if you go in the drop down menu, you get all genomic related information. How many genomic sequences are available in EMBL? Then you have similar proteins with 100% identity, 90% identity, 50% identity. So you have a protein bovine herpes virus 5, it is. Let me check. So you have a protein, a sequence reviewed in SwissProt 1.2. In strain 1.2, this GE sequence is annotated. So you can see, like in annotated proteins, you see relatively little higher amount of information, right? So whenever I give you, this is how you should try to choose two to three. You should not just rely on one information, because this is all computation. You are not doing an experiment in the lab so that you are getting some reading and noting it down. It is all computational methods you are trying to analyze. So most of the time when you have unreviewed protein, still you should do further deep analysis. So you have one more entry for the same protein, and you have same annotation, almost the same annotation you have, right? So this is how UniProt is like more descriptive, and it gives more visibility to your more visibility to your protein sequences. So very important, and you have to understand, right? Yeah, let me show you to some online tools that helps you to translate your DNA to, because I have been talking about this, right? Okay, I think I have not shared the screen. If I give you some DNA sequence, you can happily go and so suppose if I'm giving you some DNA sequence, you don't know what is this, what it codes for, right? So what you can find out its sequence, but in XPASI, in from Swiss Bioinformatics Institute only, you have some tools called as XPASI. In the XPASI, you have a tool called as Translate. So translation means, what is the translation process? DNA will be converted to RNA, RNA to protein. So to this tool, you can either submit your DNA sequence or RNA sequence, so that you will get the protein sequence. This is how the Tremble will do. In Tremble, all the genome sequences will be dumped. So automatically these tools will be like extensions. Nowadays you are hearing many extensions, right? So these tools will be extensions. So automatically they use these extensions and they deposit in the Tremble. EMBL to Tremble means translated sequences will give rise to your amino acid sequences. So what is that you have to do? You have to do the tool. Yes. Yeah. So here you get in different frames. Again, this is another story. We will talk about it. So in different strains, you will get different frames you will get, and you have to choose the lengthiest one. Lengthiest one you have to choose. And how it will translate, how this translation is done based on, you know, three bases code for one amino acid, next three bases code for next amino acid. So based on it will check the based on the standard genetic code. Standard genetic code, it will do the see, genetic code, which genetic code is used is standard. Standard is the what table we learn. ATG code for methionine and TAA, TG, TAG are the stop code. And so those based on that standard information only, this sequence is translated into your protein sequences and most possible proteins that might be produced from your gene sequence. And definitely you have to choose the one which is like more lengthiest. So this is the most lengthiest protein sequence that can be translated from your DNA sequence of interest. So this is how, using translate tools, you will be able to see. It is blindly just based on ATG, it will identify M. Based on ATG, it will identify M, and it will give you some sequences. So it may start from here. It may, like, wherever the M is coming, it may start and it may give you the most probable results, right? So this is how you will be predicting. So these are all predictions, not 100% 100% accurate, but still you have seen many other tools. You also have tools for even at EMBL you have tools. Even at EMBL, you have tools to translate nucleotide sequence transformation. You have a tool here. See, launch transect. So here you have to submit your DNA or protein sequence. And by using standard code, if you submit, these are all extensions to your at the EMBL. So you can, it like, that's why I'm telling you, you browse EMBL, you browse NCBI, you will get to know many tools. See, the job is done. So you are getting the most probable amino acid sequence that might be coded by your DNA sequence. So whenever the DNA sequence are submitted to the genomic databases, auto translate tools will automatically translate and they will give you several. See, suppose you have a protein sequence and you want to know its DNA sequence or the protein sequence. So these are all tools called as back transect. Back transect will convert your protein sequences into nucleotide sequence. So this also you can check. So always emboss tools you can practice. At the emboss you can practice and you can check how they work. Because sometimes this is important. You know only the protein sequence, and if you don't know the see, just let me go back here. So whenever some few filters you have to check. Few filters is that the sequence what we are using is a viral sequence, not a human sequence, right? So let me check whether there are any, because you know for every for most of the amino acids there are more than one codon. So among like 3 to 4 codons, a particular organism will have only particular type of codon for an amino acid. That is called as codon usage. So codon usage little varies from species to species, right? So if there is any filter related to viruses, so definitely you can choose for a virus, or else this particular virus is expressed in the bovine, like cattle. So if there is any cattle usage related database is available, so definitely you can check for cattle. If not, at least a mammalian. Choose a mammalian. Cattle అయితే కనిపించట్లేదు. So you can choose a mammalian system because this protein is expressed in a mammalian system. So you can use the any mammalian species, and you can wait for some time. So accordingly, your DNA sequences will be generated. So it is, yeah. So this is the DNA sequence generated from the Tremble, from the emboss back transect, right? So if you want to check the accuracy between your the auto translated or auto back translate sequence versus the sequence that are annotated available in the database. What you can do a pairwise alignment and check using emboss water. So using emboss water, you can do a pairwise alignment for your DNA sequence. This is the which you have just now using auto translate sequence. You have some sequence and you have some sequence that is deposited in the NCBI, right? So you can check accuracy how these two sequences are working by using a pairwise alignment. So this is how in research we try to analyze and try to find the results accurately. Miss, we check like how correctly we are going. Blindly you should not go. Yeah, so here I have got some sequence related information. Yes, so there is similarity 84%, 84.8% similarity existing between your sequences, right? So your sequences are completely similar, but some at the end here, because this I have copied from a genomic sequence. I copied from a genomic sequence. So again, tomorrow we will go to that tools. So I have not given the exact boundaries to this sequence. The stop codon. So if I take from first codon to last codon, because that only is translated, again we have used it for back translation. So that is why some at the end some sequences are not matched, but up to like 1725 you are getting accurately. Actually this is complete. You should get complete 100% similarity, right? So I will tell you why you are not getting 100%. Tomorrow, after doing small analysis of gene identification tools, you will, so within this sequence, how much is the, what is the CDS? You should actually find the CDS from this region, because we have taken this region from a chromosome, from like entire chromosome. So you don't have your marked boundaries. You have to mark boundaries where start codon, stop codon. If you submit that and back translate, you will get the same result, right? So this is how you will